All right, everyone, get ready because today we are going deep into thematic analysis.
Ooh, exciting.
Whether you're, prepping for a meeting or just curious about thematic analysis itself, we're going to try to unearth some really cool insights together.
Yeah.
It's like having X-ray vision for mountains of data,
Right.
interviews, articles, even social media posts,
Yeah.
trying to find those hidden patterns and meanings within.
It really is about reading between the lines, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not just about like what people say, but the why behind it.
Right.
Like their beliefs, assumptions, even ideologies, exact analysis. It helps us uncover all of that.
I like to think of it as a decoder ring for human behavior and culture.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, so no more skimming the surface.
No.
We are going in deep.
Let's go deep.
Can you give me an example of how this actually works?
Sure. Let's take the example from your research about how people over 50 view climate change. You might find that while climate change comes up a lot, the underlying sentiment could range from complete denial
Wow.
to fear and uncertainty, you know?
Interesting. So it's about understanding the nuances within a topic, not just the topic itself.
Right.
But how do we actually do thematic analysis?
Yeah.
Is there a process or is it just random guessing?
There is definitely a process.
Yeah.
You're not just pulling themes out of thin air.
Right.
Braun and Clark's 6-step guide is kind of the gold standard.
Right.
Consider it your GPS for navigating thematic analysis.
A GPS, I'm in. Let's start with step 1.
All right, step 1 is all about familiarization.
Mm-hmm.
Seems simple,
Yeah,
right?
right.
But it's crucial.
Okay.
You really need to immerse yourself in the data, almost live in it for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Read, reread, take notes, let it all sink in.
Yeah, it's like when I try to explain a complex topic to someone.
Yeah,
It never works unless I've really spent some time wrapping my head around it first.
exactly.
So we're getting cozy with the data, letting it all soak in.
yeah.
Then what?
Then comes step 2, generating codes.
Oh, okay.
We're talking highlighting key phrases, sentences, whole paragraphs even,
Wow.
and giving them concise labels or codes
Right.
that capture the essence of what's being said.
So back to our climate change example.
Okay.
If someone says, I'm not sure what to believe anymore about climate change.
Yeah.
Scientists say one thing, politicians another. We might code that as confusion
Yeah.
or distrust in authority.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And this is where it gets interesting.
Okay.
Sometimes, one piece of data can have multiple codes. It's not always neat and tidy.
Right.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
Human communication is complex, so
Right.
our analysis needs to reflect that.
That makes sense. We're not oversimplifying things.
Right.
We're acknowledging the layers of meaning.
Exactly.
Okay, so we're starting to build our puzzle here.
Yes.
With all these codes.
Yeah.
What comes next?
Step 3 is where we search for themes. We're grouping similar codes together, looking for connections, patterns, almost like finding constellations in a sea of stars.
Yeah.
This is where you really start to see the bigger picture emerge.
So in our climate change example, we might have a bunch of codes clustered around feelings of helplessness.
Right.
And that could lead to a theme of, say, powerlessness in the face of climate change.
Exactly.
Okay, starting to sound pretty insightful.
You're getting it.
All right.
But hold on, because step 4 is crucial.
Okay.
Reviewing themes.
Okay.
This is where we put on our critical thinking hats
All right.
and make sure those themes really hold water.
Gotcha.
Are they truly representative of the data?
Yeah.
Or did we just get excited about a couple of shiny codes?
So it's not enough to find a few interesting patterns.
Right.
You need to make sure they're backed up by evidence. I'm
Yes.
starting to feel like a data detective here.
That's the spirit.
Right.
And if a theme doesn't quite hold up,
Yeah.
we might need to refine it, combine it with another, or even toss it out altogether.
Wow.
It's about being honest with ourselves and the data.
It seems like finding that balance between staying objective
Yeah.
and also acknowledging the inevitable impact of our own perspective
Right.
seems to be key here.
Absolutely. It's a dance.
Yeah.
And it's something we need to be mindful of throughout the entire process.
Okay.
But speaking of process, we're only halfway through those 6 steps.
Oh, wow.
Are you ready to tackle the last 3?
I am. Bring on the insights.
Okay. So let's jump back into those last 3 steps of Braun and Clark's 6-step guide.
Right.
If you recall, we left off at step 4,
Yes.
which was all about reviewing our themes,
Right.
making sure they're rock solid.
Right. No flimsy themes allowed.
Exact.
We're looking for those solid, evidence-based insights.
Yes.
The ones that really capture the essence of the data.
Yeah.
But once we've got those themes locked in, what's next?
Step 5 is where we get to be a little more creative.
Okay.
It's defining and naming themes. We want to choose names that are clear, concise,
Right.
and really instantly tell you what that theme is all about.
So instead of just calling it Theme 1,
Right.
we could give it a descriptive name like the emotional toll of climate change on older adults.
Exactly.
Okay, something with a little more punch.
A well-chosen name can make your analysis much more impactful and memorable.
Right.
It's like choosing the perfect title for a book.
Yeah.
It should draw the reader in and give them a taste of what's to come.
Okay, we've identified our themes.
Right.
We've given them compelling names.
Yes.
What's the final step in our thematic analysis journey?
Step 6 is all about sharing those hard-earned insights with the world, producing the report.
Okay.
This is where we select compelling examples from the data, weave those quotes and anecdotes into a persuasive narrative,
Right.
and use clear language to explain our findings.
So it's more than just presenting a list of themes.
Right.
It's about telling a story, really bringing those themes to life with the voices of the people in the data.
Exactly.
This is where the real impact lies, I imagine.
Yes.
The ability to translate those complex analyses into something that resonates with others and inspires action.
Absolutely.
Wow.
The report is the culmination of all our hard work.
Okay.
It's where we get to demonstrate the power of thematic analysis.
Yeah.
To uncover those hidden meanings and provide valuable insights.
But the applications of thematic analysis go far beyond just,
Yes.
analyze and research data.
Right.
Oh, that's right. We were going to explore some real-world examples of how this method is being used in different fields.
Yes.
I'm particularly interested in seeing how it applies to, like, social media analysis.
That's a great example.
Yeah.
Imagine trying to understand public sentiment around a particular issue.
Okay.
Let's say the use of artificial intelligence.
Okay, yeah.
By applying thematic analysis to a massive data set of social media posts, you could start to see patterns emerge.
Right.
You might find themes related to excitement about the potential of AI, fear of job displacement,
Right.
or concerns about ethical implications.
So instead of just seeing a jumble of opinions,
Yeah.
you can start to identify the dominant narratives
Right.
and understand the nuances within those narratives.
Exactly.
It's like taking the temperature of the online world, isn't it?
Exactly. And that information can be incredibly valuable for policymakers, businesses, and anyone just trying to understand the social impact of a new technology.
But the power of thematic analysis extends to more than just understanding public opinion.
It does.
It can also be used to inform the design of new products and services.
Yes.
How so?
Imagine a company developing a new app
Okay.
that's aimed at helping people manage stress. They could conduct user interviews, analyze feedback forms,
Right.
using thematic analysis to identify the most common stressors
Okay.
and pain points.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So they're not just guessing what people need. They're actually using real data to guide the development process.
Exactly.
Okay.
They might find themes related to work-life balance, social isolation, or financial insecurity.
Right.
And those insights could then be used to design features
Right.
that directly address those specific needs.
This is fascinating.
Yeah.
We've seen how thematic analysis can be applied to social media analysis, product development.
Yes.
But I'm sure there are countless other applications out there.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
It's a versatile tool that can be used to analyze any kind of qualitative data.
Wow.
From interviews and focus groups to online reviews
Okay.
and even historical documents.
So really the possibilities are endless.
They are.
It's like having a superpower for understanding the human experience in all its messy complexity.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
All right.
But before we get too carried away,
Yeah.
there's one crucial aspect of thematic analysis that we
Okay.
haven't touched on yet. The importance of data selection and preparation.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
The foundation of any good analysis.
Right.
It's like a chef gathering the best ingredients before even thinking about the recipe.
Exactly.
So what do we need to consider when choosing and preparing data for thematic analysis? So data selection, it's like the foundation of any good analysis.
It is.
Like a chef choosing the freshest ingredients.
Yes.
We need to make sure we're working with the right data
Right.
before we even think about coding and theming.
Absolutely. If our data isn't relevant,
Right.
reliable, and representative of what we're trying to understand,
Okay.
our whole analysis could be skewed.
So let's say we're back to our climate change example.
Okay.
What kind of data would be most useful for understanding the perspectives of people over 50?
Well, we might start with interviews or focus groups, specifically targeting that age group.
Okay.
We could also look at surveys or polls that ask questions about their beliefs and concerns related to climate change.
And wouldn't those social media comments that we talked about earlier also be relevant?
They would.
Yeah.
It seems like a goldmine for understanding how people are really feeling about the issue. Absolutely, social media data can be incredibly rich.
Yeah.
But it also comes with its own set of challenges.
Such as?
Well, for example, how do you account for sarcasm or irony when coding those comments?
Yeah.
It requires a nuanced understanding of online communication.
That's a good point. It's not just about taking those comments at face value.
Right.
We need to be able to read between the lines.
Yeah.
Understand the context.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've gathered our data.
Okay.
We've made sure it's relevant, reliable.
Yes.
What's next?
Data preparation is crucial.
Okay.
This involves things like transcribing interviews, cleaning up messy text data, and organizing everything in a way that makes it easy to analyze.
This is, I imagine, kind of the less glamorous part of the process.
It can be.
But I'm guessing it's essential for ensuring the quality of our analysis.
It's like prepping a canvas before you start painting.
Okay.
If you don't have a smooth, clean surface, your masterpiece won't turn out quite right.
So no cutting corners when it comes to data prep.
No.
But once we've done our due diligence, we're finally ready to roll up our sleeves and dive into those 6 steps.
Exactly. And remember, while Browning-Clarke's 6-step guide provides a solid framework, it's not a rigid formula.
Okay.
There's room for flexibility and adaptation based on the nature of your data and the specific research question you're trying to answer.
That makes sense. Every research project is unique.
It is.
So our approach to thematic analysis should reflect that.
Right.
I'm also curious, is there a risk of letting our own biases influence our analysis?
That's a great question.
Even when following a structured process.
It highlights the importance of reflexivity in thematic analysis.
Okay.
We need to be aware of our own assumptions and perspectives.
Right.
And how they might be shaping our interpretation of the data.
So it's not just about being objective in like a detached sense.
Right.
It's about being mindful of our own subjectivity and how it interacts with the data.
It's an ongoing process of self-reflection and critical thinking that runs parallel to the actual analysis.
Wow.
And it's something that we as researchers need to be constantly aware of.
This has been a truly eye-opening deep dive.
It has.
We've explored the ins and outs of thematic analysis, from the nitty-gritty of data preparation to the importance of reflexivity on navigating our own biases.
And remember, thematic analysis is a journey, not a destination.
Okay.
The more you practice this method, the more nuanced and insightful your analyses will become.
So, dear listeners, if you're ready to unlock the hidden meanings within your own data, I encourage you to grab a copy of Browning-Clarke's book, roll up your sleeves, and dive in. And as always, we'd love to hear about your own experiences with thematic analysis. What challenges have you faced? What insights have you uncovered? Share your thoughts on our social media channels, and let's continue this fascinating conversation. Until next time, happy analyzing.